If you're tired of being censored, tired of having your data stolen and sold, go to JustNForm.com, a social media site where all voices are welcome.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of MCSC. And of course, I am, as always, your humble host, Niko House. As always, want to give a special shout out to our Patreon subscribers. All you have to do to join our Patreon is go to www.patreon.com/MCSC. Or you can just go and click on the Patreon link in the description below. You guys are a huge help, and you are constantly helping the network grow. So just want to let you know, as always, we do greatly appreciate you. And of course, like I said, like I always say, if you want to have your comments read out loud here and on Roku and every other medium that we're on, just all you gotta do is drop a super chat, and we can go ahead and get your comment read out loud. Also, if you have not yet, go to the community tab and check out that Lee Camp interview that I did. It was good. We talked about the Tim Canova situation. It's a good 10-minute summarization of what took place. So I would encourage you all to go check that out. As you all know, there has been a battle within the House of Representatives ever since the new wave of progressives came in. It's been interesting because the Democrats, if you've noticed, haven't really been bragging. Like, they won, and they're happy they took back the House to a degree. But let's be clear, they were very boisterous before. But now that they actually have the House back, Nancy's doing some campaigning for Speaker of the House, but the Democrats have been rather quiet about the fact that they did in fact beat Republicans, and that's a pretty big deal. But here's the problem. They're quiet because they know how they got the House back. They know how those Republicans in areas where they didn't know that they could be unseated got beat. They know how they got beat. That was because progressives won. Progressives ended up handing the majority over to the Democrats. And they don't want to bolster the progressive agenda. And specifically, Nancy Pelosi, in my opinion, in her bid to be Speaker of the House, is there to do one thing and one thing only: resist. And someone on my Twitter said something very insightful, in my opinion. They said that resist was never, ever, ever, ever meant to resist Trump. It was always meant to resist the Bernie people, the progressives. So, on The View, Whoopi Golberg said some weird stuff. It's kind of weird. It was kind of weird. I'm not going to lie, because it was kind of out of nowhere. But you don't got to take my word for it. Just listen to her.
Check it out.
Reportedly, some of the newly elected female Democrats are part of a so-called pink wave who are questioning whether Nancy Pelosi should be Speaker of the House. They say, she's too old. She should step aside and let the new So, okay.
Yeah.
If you're going to be the new folks, you also need to do your homework. Let's take it, for example, a Nancy Pelosi or a Diane Feinstein. Two women battling and still at work, battling their male counterparts on both sides, okay? Nancy Pelosi got most of that Obama bill through. She fought
the Obamacare.
Obamacare.
Right.
She has been on the side of right for most of the time she's been in. The same with Diane Feinstein, and the same with a whole bunch of these folks who have gotten older. You know what aged them? Fighting for the right to be an American 100%. So if you're going to represent us, because a lot of folks got in, and some of y'all calling yourselves what was it? It's something crazy. Not crazy, but it really kind of freaked me out. Justice Democrats. So I know. So let me just be really clear, because you kind of, on your site, you kind of take a little punch at people. So my question is this, are you saying that other Democrats who've been fighting for 25, 30 years aren't Justice Democrats? You think?
I'm going to answer Nancy Pelosi, not Nancy Pelosi, but Whoopi Goldberg's question. I'm gonna answer. Yeah, that's exactly what we're all saying. That for the last 30 years, Democrats haven't been fighting for justice. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Whoopi Goldberg. Bill Clinton sent more black people to jail than any Republican that I can think of. He took more black fathers out of homes, created more black single mothers than any president that I can think of. He co-opted the DEA. He co-opted the ATF. Then Obama made it legal to create propaganda, and he earned the moniker Obama because he went on to bomb 7 nations. There was nothing justice-like or judicial about the Democrats over the last 30 years. Literally, you pick the worst time period to try and defend in the Democrats' history. Diane Feinstein went on record and called immigrants undocumented citizens, mind you, in the time where we were pushing the cartels in South America. She called them leeches. And you're defending her. What in the actual hell? But let's just go ahead and address her initial argument on its face, which is that you're being sexist and ageist. And first of all, you should do your research and do your homework. No, Whoopi, no. The reason, funny enough, that the Justice Democrats are so successful, even though I'm not a big fan of some of the neoliberal aspects of the Justice Democrats, but they market as the Justice Democrats for a reason. Because the Democrats have been horrible, and they've done their homework enough to know if we run on the idea that we're against these corporatists, then we will win. And guess what they did? You guessed it, they won. And it wasn't part of the quote unquote pink wave. The pink wave was a resistance term. That's resistance terminology. These women didn't run on identity politics like you're trying to pretend that they did. And the idea that someone is more, because she said don't be ageist, right? Don't be ageist and don't be sexist. But the idea that someone has the right experience because of their age, despite the constant and continuous failures, is as ageist as the idea that because someone hasn't been in politics long enough means they can't handle the pressure, and that they don't know what they're doing, that they don't have common sense, that these people aren't college educated, that they don't understand policy. Most of them have won because they've showed a clear discernment and understanding of politics and political interactions, and they've shown that they understand what the people want. But let's play a little bit more. Well, let me see if I can fast forward. Can I fast forward it? Nah, it's just them going back and forth. But the next lady says something that's smart. She says that, I can't remember. I wish I could remember her name. I can never remember her name. But she said, well, no one should be in office forever. And then Whoopi Golberg, because you can tell Whoopi Golberg has no understanding, no knowledge of what's going on. She tells them to do their homework. And they would know that Nancy Pelosi should be Speaker of the House. Whoopi, did you forget they just won back the House? Why did they not have the House to begin with? Because Nancy Pelosi lost it. And she didn't lose it once. Almost every time that Nancy Pelosi is Speaker of the House, they lose it almost 2 years later. You get that, right? You can't give us one policy reason, one progressive policy that Nancy Pelosi would make it her. Do you understand that most people are pragmatic, right? That's why there's like one issue voters, because they're like, if we get one issue passed at a time, ultimately ultimately our overall progressive agenda or anybody's overall agenda would get pushed through. If Nancy Pelosi said it will be my mission right now, even with most of her faults, and this I'm being real right now, because I know I've seen the political landscape enough to know that people are a lot more malleable than they pretend to be. If Nancy Pelosi, as Speaker of the House right now, said, I will push through and make it my mission to get Medicare for all or single-payer health care pushed through, guess what? We would be like, shit, that'll work. Okay, fine. That's pretty good. We'll take that. Because combined with her experience, her network, and the money behind her to be able to get Medicare for all pushed through and then like be riding her entire career on that and making sure that one thing could change millions of lives, we would be okay with that. We're not greedy. If she said, I'm going to make it my mission to make sure that the military industrial complex is substantively addressed, we will not be spending billions and billions of dollars on war when we cannot afford health care back at home for our own. People will be like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'll take that. We're not greedy. We are not perfectionists. We are not purists. Most of us are not. If Nancy Pelosi said, even with all her faults, like this is including her faults because everybody has faults, even with her faults, Nancy Pelosi said, I will spend my entire time as Speaker of the House pushing renewable energy and a Green New Deal, making sure that our environment is protected, creating a bunch of new renewable infrastructure. We would be like, all right, I'm pretty okay with that. I'll take it. I'm not a greedy person. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Am I lying right now? Progressives, be real. If we could get just one of those policies pushed through, it would change the lives of millions and when we're talking about the environment, billions of people. But Whoopi Golberg could not say any of those things because Nancy Pelosi has never promised any of those things. And what's funny is, Nancy Pelosi got most of the Obamacare bill pushed through. No, Nancy Pelosi was paid by those same insurance companies that the Republicans were paid by. She didn't help push shit through. In fact, she was part of the problem. Nancy Pelosi was part of the reason that the Obamacare bill ended up being a shell of itself. It went from being 100% public health care with a private option to 100% private health care, get over it. And by the way, if you don't get the health care, we're going to penalize you. Whoopi, stay in your lane. You sounded like a bumbling idiot, to be honest with you. And that's just a nice way of putting it. I haven't even really been able to say what I've been saying to my friends about this video because you sound like a pompous blowhard who knows nothing about nothing, who's never experienced a legitimate struggle outside of being a black woman in your life. And I understand that being a black woman in Hollywood is legitimately an issue, but I put you in the same category, if you will, as the Oprahs of the world, where you've sold out your people, you've sold out your struggle, and you've pimped out your experiences to get ahead while you wag your finger at everyone else. This isn't the movies. Moral platitudes are not policy, and you need to understand that. And once again, you're caping for the white feminists that black women have become subjected to. Women of color in general have become subjected to. You're caping for them. Because Nancy Pelosi does not represent. She said straight, Barbara Lee and Marcia Fudge are both considering runs as Speaker of the House. And Nancy Pelosi looked straight in that camera in one interview and said, well, it would look silly if we took took out the women as Speaker of the House and didn't have one as Speaker of the House after all these women got elected. Double back, excuse me. Last I checked, there were two other women of color, women with experience, women with conviction, and women with values, women who have not sold us out, women who are not subject to their corporate donors. But you don't mention those women, do you, Whoopi Golberg? Interesting how Barbara Lee's name didn't come out of your mouth, Whoopi Golberg. Interesting how Marsha Fudge's name didn't come out your mouth, Whoopi Golberg. But you quick to cape for the white feminists. You're quick to cape for the white identity. You're quick to cape for the white woman, the white $100 million woman. But you need to do your homework. Whoopi, no. Your dreads are wrapped entirely too tight. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into this special report of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Make sure you join us on Roku at MCSC Network. Make sure you donate to our Patreon, help keep the network growing. And hey, more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.